Hello everyone, I'm Neeraj of BMSIT-ISE. Today I'm going to speak about virtual reality and what the future holds for it. Um, let's look into this. These are topics I'm going to speak about today about virtual reality. Introduction. What is VR? VR, also known as virtual reality or virtual environments, is basically nothing but a video that is rendered in high frames per second and customized in such a way that you feel your eyes are tricked that it is the real world. So at the comfort of your house you can travel anywhere, you can be wherever you want by being wherever you want. That is the comfort of VR. So let's look more into this. Is this VR? Is just a TV strapped to your eyes called a VR, or is it something more than that? In when we were child, we are looking at the TV from a closer distance, and this is what was our world getting immersed. But now, the virtual reality technology actually brings about changes that will bring real immersion into action. The motivation for me to choose the topic. You've seen that by 2016, 230 companies were using virtual reality and were working on it. That too, Facebook has employed about 400 employees for this project. By seeing the statistics, you can know that there's something important going on, and something crucial is hidden in the realm of virtual reality. So that's why more has to be explored and more has to be discovered so that we can improve this technology and take it further. Objectives. Today, my objective is to explain VR in a simple manner and tell the problems you're facing now and how you can solve them in the future if anyone is interested to work on this field. Literature review. Okay, when I was searching out VR, the first thing that popped is Project Alloy. Project Alloy was developed by Intel. It's a mix of virtual reality, augmented reality. So what happens is in virtual reality is where you bring a virtual world to and substitute it with the real world. Augmented reality is where you take parts of the virtual world and keep it in the real world. And merged reality use combine both of them, and you get a product where you modify the real world in accordance and make it virtual. So here you can see that the walls are changed to a different color. The walls are present in the real world, but because of the merged reality, they're changed in different color, and all you can see is your hands through the VR set. This enables you to interact with the objects, and each object interacts and reacts differently than what it is intended to from the real world. For example, if you have a guitar and you see them through the project alloy, yeah, you may just touch it and it starts playing in the virtual world, in the merged world. Whereas in real world, you are just touching the strings. So that is the power of virtual reality. Oculus Rift. Oculus Rift is a widely popular gaming console. Even though it is used mostly for gaming, it can there are variety of uses of Oculus Rift. Oculus Rift basically focus on giving a seamless experience to the user. So this runs at um, 90 frames per second. This usually is 3 times higher than high definition TV. So so that you can experience the virtual world as if it were real. And these two controllers, unlike Project Alloy, this is fully virtual, so you need controllers to sense your hand movement, and the virtual world reacts accordingly. Some important papers. There are two important papers that I found that were really useful. First one is A Perspective from Long View by David A. Smith. This basically says that since he was working with virtual reality from 35 years, he has seen that like before in 1994, there was a language called virtual reality modeling language. So how it has evolved, and now you no longer need a language because you have in your hand a device that has all the sensors and is capable of mimicking the virtual reality just fine. And this enables us to think that how much the technology has changed, and during these course of years we have made the virtual reality modeling language redundant because of your technology. And if this goes on, we would make a virtual reality experience that is fully immersive, and you won't know the difference between real world and a virtual world. Okay, and emotional qualities of VR space. You see that many aspects of VR, like VR calls and VR chats, where they try to mimic the human interaction. If you're calling a friend from here and to somewhere far, they try to mimic two humans so that it looks as if you're talking face to face. The Here in the paper, they suggest how to mimic the human reactions, and how how impactful the qualities are when you interact emotionally with each other. This is the basic design of a VR headset. You see in your left that in see in your left there's a microphone, the controllers, keyboards, and a screen. So these are the input devices. You can as of now, out of the five senses, yeah, you can give input in two senses. So, visual perception, if you're looking around due to the visual orientation, the screen changes. So, that's one input. And a microphone, if you want to speak, like in VR chat, you can do that. The other two are keyboard and joysticks, even though they're not um, taking your actual movements, but they're subsidiary, just the controllers for your hands. They are not called as mimicking a sense, that is touch. They can't do that. So this is the technology we have today. All this is taken as input, goes to the kernel, and the game, as you can see, is the far right of the spectrum. This is not only about a game, even the 360-degree videos or the chat, the same mechanism pulls through. You can see that from the game, the software, it goes back to the output. The output may be anything like stereos, headphones, that will be the auditory output, and there's a monitor that should support 60 hertz. If There are two types of VR. One is desktop view, and one is this headset. The desktop view does not support your head movements, whereas the headset supports. Headset requires slightly greater, that is 95 hertz, than the monitor. So this is how basically the virtual interaction works. There's not much different from the usual interaction, but there's an increase in the hertz, and also the frames per second. Normal frames per second of high definition video is 29 frame per second, whereas this supports um 90 frames per second to get a smooth flowing experience. Here you see a teleoperator. Basically what he's doing is, with the virtual world, he's operating the machine from somewhere else. He can control it, and because of the virtual reality headset, he feels as if he's in that location and operating on that. This is basically used where things seem very dangerous and humans cannot go and they can't risk that. They use this so that they can operate from afar. Experimental studies. There have been experimental studies on how VR could help the human race. The first of all, you know the fact that your body follows your mind. So whenever a patient has an injury that basically brain injury, if a part of brain stops working, and that in turn affects your arm or legs or any other body organs, you can put them in the virtual world, and let them see their arms or legs that's not working as working now, and this automatically signals your brain that it's working normally. These brain injuries and traumas gradually heal when done for a long period of time with just the help of virtual reality. Don't need anything else. Whereas if the actual body part is hurt or damaged, virtual reality is of no use. It only works during brain injuries. Applications. Okay, you see, VR used everywhere in the world. VR is used so that they can save money from actual real, instead of generating real world environments, actual build this and save a lot of money. Training, you can see below is the picture of a man holding a parachute. So this basically signifies that in real world for him to jump from a plane, it would take first of all a lot of money to fuel up the plane and take it that high. Second, he would have a risk of falling because he's inexperienced. Because of this virtual world, he knows exactly what to do, and even if he fails, it's okay because he's in a safe environment. Treating disorders. Like I said, one was the experimental study where they treat people with brain injury, and the second is whenever you have anxiety or stage fear, you can use the virtual reality device so that you can mimic the whole audience into the virtual reality headset, and you don't have to fear them anymore. And if you're fearful, you can overcome it gradually at your own pace. Normal usage of device. So treating disorders, this is what looks like when you treat a person with vertigo. You can see him sitting in the room, but this is what he actually sees. He sees down below. He's fearful, but there's no actual danger. So he may be cautious, but he may be also a bit relaxed, and this may help him overcome his phobia and fears. Virtual reality classroom system, as Manjana sir told me, virtual reality classroom systems is a thing now. The Google is mainly developing a system where you can have classrooms, and people from all over the world can sign up for a course. The environment created virtually will be like the normal environment, the normal classrooms, and after you pass a particular subject you can get a job in that field. So this basically is not done yet, and Google is trying to develop it fully. If it does, it would be a big change in how we look at education. This is what this is a Google Cardboard. Google actually started this initiative by giving this less expensive Google Cardboards to some schools for free so that they can test it out and they can start using it gradually, and when the time comes they'll be already used to the new technology. Gaming and exploring, virtual reality is not fully complete without application of gaming. So this is what virtual reality is mainly and mostly used for nowadays. You can, as you can see, the first picture has a VR chat room where people meet together, and the avatars, as you can see, are not well developed. They're cartoonish. The development is going on in that area so that more realistic models, and in near future a replication of yourself is made in VR chat rooms. Below is some of the popular games that came about in the field of virtual reality. These are played using the Oculus Rift. Um, VR case study, enter the sandbox. You see that here AUDI created a sandbox where Sandbox where they just put three small cars, and these cars were actually controllable from remote controller. And as you can see, there's a seat and a chair and the wheel, steering wheel. This is the controller for the car, and this is a virtual reality headset. This was actually a case study. They did not know it would be this popular, but people came from all over the world to check it, and they could experience the car, the mini version of the car, as if it were the real version of the car in driving in the sandbox. So yeah, this was a unique experience, and this case study was successful. Okay, conclusion. We see that VR has found already an enormous number of applications in different areas, and there are also some limitations to VR, such as it can't sense two major senses, that is taste and smell. They can't replicate it, and without that, there'll be no full immersion. That's why now they are trying to develop something so that all the five senses can be fully immersed and something new can come out of this. Um, these are the references. Thank you so much for your patience, and I'll sign out now. Thank you.